Hey guys, Disloader Magic here. We've had two massive thefts of gaming stores in roughly the last week. And that's just the ones I heard about. I'm hearing from certain other groups that the number of thefts is going up. I don't have hard numbers, but generally a lot of store owners know each other and talk, and they all sort of agree that petty theft on up to burglary and full nighttime, invasion kind of stuff is a little bit more prevalent now than it used to be. Well, let's start with a store called Great White. It is in the Spruceland Shopping Center in Prince George, British Columbia, Canada. Now, I'm not going to show the full footage, even though I do have it, link below, because it's actually hard to watch. Don't know if that's just because I owned a store or because I hate criminals, maybe both. But the one time that I caught somebody stealing from my store, I was pissed. I had the guy arrested within about 3 hours, so if you know who this guy is, I don't know how much he got away with, but watching the footage, that's got to be in the thousands range. So that very distinct looking face that looked right into the camera and then decided not to wear a mask at the only time in human history in Canada and America where it's appropriate and socially acceptable to wear a mask. Criminal genius here, guys. Yeah, he decided to give us the clearest picture of his face ever, so if you recognize this person, please forward the information to the owner of Great White. Or me, if you want to be anonymous, I'll anonymize it, I'll proxy it, I don't care. Totally unrelated to the video, but does anybody know what Patrick Chapin was doing last weekend? I wonder what American and not Canadian, MTG and not Pokemon player Patrick Chapin was doing. Just kidding, people are giving him so much shit. That is actually really funny though. Next up, from the Iron Lion in Colorado Springs, Colorado, America, we had this crew, of course, relevant pictures on the screen, make off with something. I actually don't know what. I watched the footage. I got the stills. Link to their Facebook post, if it's still around, in the description if you want to see this in motion. The weird thing is they must not have stolen, like $10,000 worth of product because they had to carry it out or hide it or, something in their coats or whatever. But I'll give them one half mask wear between all of them. Almost had that over your nose there, buddy. So Taylor Schilling there was dressed like just like an average burglar in all black. But then that Chum Leon Shrooms looking guy was wearing a New York something or other hat, and the other one, who looks like literally everyone's younger brother, was wearing a New York Knicks hat. That's 2 New Yorks out of 3. Also, people had pointed out that, I'll just keep calling him Chumley. It looks like he's wearing a wig because that hair is way too shiny. If it's not, the second they arrest him, I'm going to try and get in contact and be like, what conditioner to use? That is fantastic. That shit do be shining and sheening, bro, and it'll go over very well in prison. So if they're really both from New York and it wasn't just a cover because they don't look that smart, then again, he may have worn a wig but not covered his face. Look, I don't get it either. I don't think these guys are the brightest. They're somewhere between criminal mastermind and what the hell were they thinking? I don't think they were smart enough to wear, out-of-state gear to throw off the police, but then dumb enough to not cover their faces. If they were like, hey, we're flying to Colorado for, I don't know, some New York sporting game thing. I don't know, what's even playing right now? Well, then their photos are going to be all over the airport and in their databases, aren't they? Otherwise, I doubt they drove from New York to Colorado to steal, a couple $100 worth of whatever. I still don't know what it was. But yeah, I mean, Jordan's camo pants and a fake wig, glasses and a New York hat. Let's just say you walk into my shop with that, I'm going to scrutinize you a little heavier than the average person. And if you're like, that's profiling, yes. Mannerisms, appearance, clothes, that is all par for the course. Other things I didn't mention are not. So if you have any information leading to any of these, of course, contact the Iron Lion or me or police or whatever. Colorado Springs, Colorado, once again. And just some general tips here for stores. Profile the crap out of people. Keep an eye on everyone, especially if they're acting weird or seem like, what they're talking doesn't seem sincere or genuine. They seem nervous. They seem distracted. Look all around. Look who's behind them. Look what's going on. If they're nervous, make them feel more nervous or bring it directly up to their face that they panic and bail. And always, if it's legal, have a weapon. And if it's not, move your store somewhere where it's legal to have a weapon. Because you never know what happens when you confront criminals. I had someone trying to sell me some stolen property at my shop, and I just outright, after being evasive, and be like, that's not usually what we buy, trying to be polite about it. I was like, I know this is stolen. Get out of here before I call the police. He tried to come around the counter. I don't remember if his hands were up and his shoulders were back like, what, it's fighting time, ooh, physical threat, what do they call that, pre-attack cues, or if he was reaching in his pockets. I don't remember which, but I did have to pull a gun on him and he just bolted. Next up, cameras are wonderful if they get caught. I mean, those were pretty nice cameras all around. Good recording system in good working order. We got clear photos. Generally, what helped me catch the person that stole something from my shop back in the day was that I set it at, I think, 10 frames per second, even though the cameras were capable of like 30 or 60, and then upped the encoding to like, I don't know, 65, 70% quality, and then put it like a 3 terabyte hard drive, which could do, I think, 78 days of recording. And then I did like non-interpolated frames and like was really selective about the video encoding type and the container and that kind of stuff. But that's above most people's skill level if they don't work, in video editing. But, take the time, research it, look it up. You only have to do it and configure it once and they just leave it for years. Come on. Do test it regularly and really like the whole, motion, wide field of view, all that. That's wonderful. It is better to have a wide field of view in a high res, more so than multiple cameras. But if all you can see from every frame is blurry because, the automatic iris is crap, the shutter speed is crap, the f-stops are crap. I'd rather have one that doesn't try to cheat the system and be like, we could do 300 days of recording. Wow. Yeah, but at what cost? You can't get a single still from some of this footage I've seen from other break-ins. It's all about the stills, okay? If you can see them in 60 FPS HD stealing from your store, that's great, but if every frame looks like crap, you're not going to get a good clear photo. Also, instead of, oh my god, this drives me nuts when the police do this in my area, instead of holding up your cell phone to the monitor on the security playback DVR and taking a photo of that, which isn't even a one-to-one level, let alone glare, learn how to use the export button and export a clip and export a still frame from the software natively to a flash drive. It is not that hard. In fact, have a blank flash drive sitting next to it. It will like quadruple the odds of finding someone if they weren't right in front of the camera. Luckily, this person was. Also, those cameras were pretty well configured. I know I'm not saying put $1,000, Sony Handycams or Canons or something like in your store, but also don't just buy a Ring doorbell. Next up, all the locks and silent alarms and cameras and motion sensors and all that in the world aren't going to actually catch someone or prevent the theft. Preventing it, then you just get a new window, get a new door, get a new whatever because they ran away. At my shop, I had tested and metered 121 decibel alarms, okay? You literally, if it goes off, cannot be in the store without your hands over your ears or it will cause you physical pain, nausea, and I accidentally set it off directly in my face one time. Like my legs stopped working and I just saw white for a little bit and I had to turn off the alarm with my elbow because I could not take my hands away from my ears, okay? I was basically like Eldaring myself. Like if anybody broke in, that's it. It's unless they knew to bring earplugs. Plus people like across the street 500 feet away could hear this. They cost about $7. So they also come with glass break sensors. You can have the fancy systems where you pay monthly and they call the cops, or you're going to scare the person away and have absolutely no property stolen. And then have, a picture out front that can grab license plates, obviously. Also, that license plate, I photoshopped it. It's 653A. I feel like that person wasn't necessarily involved, but, well, that's what it says. Also, don't think it can't happen to you, because it can and will, no matter how good or bad your area is. It might. We had a guy on drugs walk into the subway right next to my shop, and I heard from the witnesses and from some other cameras that he tried to get into my shop first, every single shop in the strip, and then went to the subway, sat there for an hour talking to himself and acting weird, and then when they were like, hey, do you want something? He went nuts and started throwing chairs at the staff and got arrested. Turns out he got on a Greyhound from North Carolina, came to Wisconsin, got off at the bus stop, and then tried to break into my store and then went crazy in a subway. I'd never planned for that specifically, but the funny thing is I was supposed to be open that day, and I don't remember why I was closed, but it was actually during my normal hours. Oh, also, if somebody's acting violent or erratic because they're on drugs or having a mental episode, but they're not armed, a gun is going to do you absolutely nothing. Which is why I also had pepper spray and some other LTL stuff, baseball bat. It's less than lethal if you're careful. Yeah, I got the bat at a Goodwill for like $3. My security system cost like, between all the sensors, about $30. And the cameras were $60 and the DVR was a rebuilt pile of garbage Dell Dimension or Optiplex, off-lease piece of crap. I think with the 3 terabyte hard drive, which was about $150, it was about $160. So add that all up and it is lower than the cost of probably one of the cards that person stole. So take security seriously, and if you want a deterrence, make sure your security system is very noticeable. Where whenever they're scouting, coming to the store to just, what do they got, They're like, wow, every single glass case has a glass break sensor on it. Wow, there's 3 cameras, 3 different models, and they don't know that you bought 2 decoys and 1 real one. Maybe I shouldn't rob this place. On my register, I even had a thing that says, like, we don't dial 911 or something about 2A or, whatever. Oh, no, I think it said free bullets with all attempted robberies. And that was next to the one that says we don't dial 911. If you think, oh, that'll scare my customers, that'll scare some liberal, dumbass 50-year-old Karens who came straight from Facebook, okay? You didn't want them as a customer anyway if they're that stupid. Everybody else will just be like, yeah, I feel safer in this place because, look at all the security countermeasures. Also have insurance on your inventory. And make sure it covers this, like theft and stuff. They're not going to be like, no, you didn't secure this well enough, but we didn't tell you that when you signed the papers. So hopefully these people get caught. If anybody has an update, because it took me a little while to edit this, let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.